Ladies and gentlemen, we are back for another review for Peacemaker Season 2. This is Episode 3's review. This is a spoiler-filled discussion. I have someone on the go, and I'm going to bring him in. What's going on, Ronan?
James Gunn, you are evil. Evil.
Or a genius, an evil genius.
Evil genius, yeah. That's the only way of putting it.
Yeah, so again, you guys, this is a spoiler review. So if you have not already seen the episode, please turn away and come back because I'm about to drop the mic, literally. So first thing you see as soon as you first get on this episode is you see my man, Joel Kinnaman. He is back in an exclusive scene for this episode because this takes place before the events of the Suicide Squad, and it was amazing to see him not only on screen but also with a certain other character. Did you know that they had a relationship together? Did they express that in like the first season?
No, not at all. Like, again, that's almost one of the beauties of Amelia. Like, she's been so close about her past. Like, all we know is that like her dad trained her in guns as a kid, or like as a young adult. That's all I knew. But like, the fact that this is played before Suicide Squad, I wonder now. Did James always have this in his card? Because he always said he knew the backstory of Weasel. I'm wondering, did he know the backstory of Amelia and Rick Flag? And not only that, but they mentioned June, and dude, they mentioned Enchantress, and it's just like, what the hell?
Right. Yeah, it was so surreal because even when we looked at like, the Suicide Squad, I was kind of like, I didn't know if he was with Enchantress still. It kind of felt like he was with somebody else. That was kind of the impression I kind of got. And then it was interesting that Amelia was in it because I was like, okay, she would have had to have known of Rick Flag. She would have to have known like who Amanda Waller worked with because she worked so closely with her. So it was like a breath of fresh air. And not just that, to be honest with you, coming off the last episode and seeing how Rick Flag Sr. was like feeling, I was like, man, it would be interesting for James to put like a scene, of him in here. I didn't expect them to put the man in there in two different incarnations of him. This universe's version, but then when we see Amelia on the other side, we see a whole different side. Was it to Captain Rick Flag? Is he a captain or what was he? I forgot.
I think so.
He was Army. I know that.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, he was very much so meek and sneaky and dorky, and he very much so wasn't sure of himself. And so it was a stark difference, but it shows the talent that is Joel Kinnaman. And I'm not gonna lie to you, by the end of this season, I want them to find a way of bringing him back. I don't care what it is. If you take the geeky one, just give him a little bit of gut check or something. Maybe him seeing his dad for the first time will change his perspective. I'm just real curious about this other world, to be honest. But yeah, any touch points on Joel Kinnaman's performance, and then also having Rick Flag Jr. being in this episode?
This might be a hot take, but I've always said that like the first like few scenes of the Suicide Squad with Joel Kinnaman as Rick Flag Jr. were so good. They were so like comic book like accurate that like it was almost like shocking in a way that like they got him the yellow shirt, they did all this, and the fact that spoilers for the Suicide Squad, but he died in that one. I was so heartbroken, no pun intended. And I was just like, come on, man, you just nailed them comic book like accurate. Keep them around and keep the Suicide Squad around because there's so much you can do with that element of the DC universe. And so in some regards, I'm with you. And in some regards, I'm like, I need Junior and Senior to have a scene together. And you see that play out. See like what could they have told each other that they couldn't have beforehand.
Yeah, it was just even the way that they handled the line delivery, of how they kind of showed him going into the scene and the progress of it. It was genius. And then they go straight into the intro. Now, this was the interesting thing. Way it starts is my man is wigging out from that same exact thought and emotions. But Chris is on the other side. Like he very much so was blacked out drunk, and he wakes up to realizing crap, I got to keep it moving. And his brother's just like, what is going on? What are you doing? Like, what's wrong with you? But it was just such an interesting progression. How he one has to accept what he's done being there, and then two, how he's slowly starting to pitfall into more um emotional damage, because the more he gets immersed himself into this world, the more it's going to change him ultimately. I mean, it's going to cause like a lot of ripple effects, and we've already kind of seen that, but it's deeper than that because now he's starting to text the other Amelia in this world. Now he's starting to communicate in a way like he should be there. And then, dare I say, he goes and starts to communicate with Amelia in this other world. And I ain't gonna lie to you, and I don't know if you can hear me or not, but
I can.
they they were a cute couple. They
Bro,
I don't know how to really describe it, but they fit perfectly, near perfectly.
it was sad, dude, watching because I'm like, this is so good. This is so pure. This is what I wanted, but this is cheating. This is not. She doesn't deserve this, and like you don't. You have to do it on your own with the other dimension, Emilia. Like it's. I was like, fuck, this is so good, but this is not right because this is gonna end so bad. And again, when we get to the other element, there's a conversation um about that same thing about like no matter what, I love you, man. And like I'm like, oh no, this is not gonna end well unless you bring it up sooner. Please don't do what the other shows do, or just like the last episode, the revelations. So, but yeah, man, I echo your sentiments. They were so cute together, and you're like, I wonder what she went through that our Emilia, the Emilia that we've known thus far, what she went through. I'm fascinated by that, dude.
Yeah, it almost seems like all the different versions are a direct contrast, like they're bizarre versions of the characters. I can imagine the Superman there is probably like a bizarro kind of character, but the thing about it is, the Millie we know, she very much so is independent, entitled, and very much so is, unfortunately, toxic at times and self-destructive. This other Amelia is all the opposites of those. She is a self-reflection. She is very collaborative. She's willing to open up about her feelings. She, even when she was kind of like around him, you could tell she was gushing about him without saying anything, that she didn't want to get hurt, because and I think it was so interesting because he was choosing to be apologetic to show her he is very different, and it threw her off. But I think that the other side of it is that the Millie that we know, she would never wear like a costume. She would never go and put herself in a situation where she was working for a corporation like that openly. And also she wouldn't put her heart out there on the line because it could possibly get herself killed. And I'm worried that this Amelia is not going to survive. And I don't know.
That's gonna break my heart, dude. Like really, like I'm like just make them. And again, there's another element of like this other dimension has been called, it's best dimension ever, and they're just like, yeah, man, that's cool, but like these people are gonna feel hurt regardless of how much you care about them, how much that was real for you, and probably real for them. Like it's coming at a cost. Like and like dude, it was that this episode was so effing good. It's probably my favorite one of the season thus far.
Yeah.
But it's at a cost of like this is so good, it's working so well, but it's gonna flip on its head, and that's gonna be heartbreaking. Heartbreaking when it concludes. Right? If it does conclude, I don't know. I hope there is a resolution, and I hope that like there's an understanding. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, no, and it's so crazy how that whole conversation they have out there outside, and then all of a sudden, next thing you know, somebody's running and get blown to freaking crap. And then it's like terrorists are like running amok, like shooting up the place, like bombarding themselves in, like setting up a bomb. It was like, and I'll give credit to James because it was so fast paced, and it felt like, oh man, this is a real threat situation. It's not to say that the universe that Peacemaker comes in, it never feels like that, but this felt like, oh, these are some bad guys. And I think that the organization, I forget the name of them, they are actually in the comics as well. The organization was actually starting.
Something freedom. That's I remember like something freedom when I'm like, oh, I've heard this before.
Yeah. So it was
Dude,
interesting.
it was weird because like I was watching it, and if you when you see my reaction, if you all see my reaction, like when they're having this powerful moment, I sing in the background people running, and I'm like, what's happening? What's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong? And they cut to the exterior shot, and everything was calm. And then you saw people running into frame, and I was like, oh no, something's about to happen. And then, and it's just like, wow. But I agree with you. James Gunn's direct writing, and also shout out to the director Greg Mottola, who I think is producing the majority of this show with James. He directed this episode and was just phenomenal. Pacing wise, I was in it, and dude, when he gets into that building, woo, man, oh man.
Man, it was so well stylized, and I think sometimes you forget how much of a bad A that Chris actually is, because truthfully, like he's just sometimes just all over the place emotionally, and he's doing stupid stuff, and he's in his own head. But the man is proficient at what he does. It was just funny because before he got into the building, she was like, "What are you doing? Did you forget? Did you fall on your head? Are you okay?" And he was like, "Oh no, I forgot. It's okay." And I was starting to worry. Like when I was watching it, I was worried that he was gonna F it up. Like I was like, he is going to mess this up, but he did not. He put in that work. I mean, he literally came from one side of another building onto the inside and started demolishing these guys. It was actually amazing.
Bless you. Bless you.
Thank you. Oh man, it was too much for my sinuses. But I just love how well they choreographed it, and like it was as violent and bloody as you can see from something like Suicide Squad. But I think the thing that surprised me the most is he won. Like,
Yes, he did.
Did it?
Yes, he did. I was just like, "Fuck! What is this gonna? What is this gonna mean?" And then, whew. But also, again, what that comes with of like he's seeing people see him as a hero, and you're like, dude, this isn't. It's so sweet, but it's not earnest in the proper way. And again, I like part of me was like, oh man, I'm so happy he's finally getting these moments to like get this stuff off his shoulders. But it's not. You got to earn that. You got to do the work in your dimension, not in somebody else's dimension. Just oh man.
Do you think this is gonna like push him off the edge mentally? The only reason why I say that is because I don't see him coming out of this ordeal without some losses. And I feel like it's not going to push him to be a hero. I feel like it's going to push him to be something else, to be honest with you. Like everything that you look at, like kind of like The Boys, when you think about the silhouette of who the heroes are right now outside of Superman, they're self-centered, entitled, do whatever the hell they want to do. And they're siloing themselves in to be basically gods. You know what I'm saying? Right. And I don't see him mentally finding another way. I really don't.
It's weird because as we get into this episode, you realize that like the Christopher Smith of that other dimension, although he's a hero, he has a private stuff. He has like the pills in the drawer. I was like, oh no. And then when his brother asked him, are you back on the pills again? And it's just like, yo, what is, there's more to this than meets the eye. It's just like, what else don't we know about this dimension? Like, and how much that might also affect stuff. And I think he'll get to the edge. And then I think his friends see him get over the edge are going to snap them to like trust in him being a different person and pull him back. Like him trying to connect with people. I think him seeing people like Emilia. I think if his dimension Emilia reaches out to him, I think that's the only thing that might be able to snap him back from going off the edge. And again, he still hasn't met Senior yet. Imagine when he meets Senior. Whew.
True crap. That's man. You're right about that.
Like you see it in Cena's performance when he sees Flag in the other dimension. That's a cluster moment, and it's just like you could almost want him to want. You almost, I could hear him in his mind saying, "I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. I didn't want to do that." But he didn't want to do it. He said in the movie, "I don't want to do this, but I'm ordered," and it's just like respect him. And again, I can't imagine the words that are gonna come out of his mouth when he meets Senior. And then I can only imagine Senior throwing him the line, "Peacemaker, what a joke."
Yeah. No, it's absolutely gonna happen. They're setting up Rick Flag Sr. for something really dope, to be honest with you, because we ain't really seen him put hands on anybody just yet. But we know he's capable just based off of Creature Commandos. Now, I think this is my prediction. We haven't gotten to how like the episode ended because it was actually pretty epic, even how it ended. But my theory is what's going to happen at some point. You know, he's probably going to have Peacemaker at gunpoint, and Peacemaker is going to make his peace with it. But he's gonna let him know, like, you know, I was just doing the orders. I was told to do this, and he's gonna. And Rick Flag, no matter what, he's gonna ask, like, before I put a bullet in your head, who gave you the order and why? And I think that Chris will tell him, like, Amanda Waller told me to do this. And I think that before he does anything, that's whenever he gets that information, that's when we're going to see Amanda pop back up, because he's going to confront her and he's going to ask her, did you have to make that decision? Was that the best call for everyone or the best call for you? And I'm waiting for that. I'm waiting for Viola Davis to show back up, because I'm still perplexed. I thought that she was going to get her own show, and they haven't. I don't think they canceled it. So
DVD for that one, I think.
So I mean, I think this would be the lead into whatever is going to go on with her, because they haven't really explained where she's at, right?
MIA, man. MIA. Like we got we got her appearance in Black Adam, but I'm not counting that like that. I'd say like at the events of Peacemaker season 1 we're so like consequential. Like it's like God only knows what games she's been playing on the inside out. Like there's no way she's not just sitting in the cell and not doing nothing. Like we know her to be that. She's too more clever than that, in my opinion.
Right, because even with that, like in Black Adam, they had a Hawk man, right?
Yes, and that one's they had a Hawkman. Yeah.
So is Aldous Hodge Hawkman? And I mean, anyway, you know what? It's not for us to think about right now. Later things to think about. But do you want to kind of round us out how the episode concluded from the point that he came back?
So it concluded with him saving the day. He had a sweet moment with his brother as heroes, and he tells Emilia, like, because she tells him, like, you really want to go out with me again? I'm not trying to get hurt. Like, you have to ask yourself this question and think about it for a while. He's like, I'm gonna do what you told me. I'm gonna think about this, but I'm gonna be gone for a few days. I'm gonna be unavailable because he's gonna go back to his dimension. And it says, but like we'll talk again, I promise. And as he's going back to his dimension, we know that Argus is on his tail. They're pissed at what Eagly did in the last episode. They got a eagle hunter being played by the one and the only Michael Rooker. And now there's they all know now that this is what Chris has in his possession, and they're right outside his house, ready to snatch him. Yeah, that's wild. Wild.
Yeah, it's. I saw something. I'm gonna pull it up real quick. I don't know if I can get a good shot of it, but there was a shot of this man, and I don't know what the hell is going on.
I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah, that's the shot.
What's going on? I brought it in blurry, guys, because I don't know how much of a spoiler or whatever it actually is, but I'm excited.
Yeah,
I'm very excited. And I think it's more interesting that he made it back just in time before they got there. But was he about to turn himself in, or this was the moment that he was about to see Rick Flag Sr. and then it stopped, right?
So I don't think it's the moment right before he sees Rick Flag Sr. It just I know he just got out the door and he turns and then it cuts to black. I just like, okay, what happens right after that? Because they're outside his house. They know what he has there. So there's no that he's surrounded. So we'll see, man. I don't know, man. I am oh man, I'm telling you, ever since the first episodes, I forgot I missed this show. And I missed this show. And I missed these characters. Oh, so good.
Yeah, and I think what James has done really well is all these different movies and shows. He has continued the world building, dude. Like the way that he's taken, just like Rick Flag Sr., for instance. Our first inkling of him was in an animated series, and then it was Superman, and then it was this, and it's kind of like it just feels like this man's been here this whole entire time. It doesn't feel like they just shoehorned him in. It was written and devised with a purpose. You know what I'm saying? And it's kind of like for some of us that love the Suicide Squad, one of the things that hurt the most is like, why did Junior have to die? Like, how is this gonna work? How's this canon? Like, oh, you're just gonna add and insert, Rick Flag Sr. into here. How are you gonna make that work? And I guess what we should understand from this episode is in James we trust, because this was a near perfect episode. It was not any. I don't see any negative points in it. Even like the down moments, it was like really tongue in cheek. It was some really interesting humor there, but it was a lot of emotion. It was more emotional than I anticipated. Was this also the episode that oh my god, what is her name? Amanda Waller's is it Latoya?
Oh, Leota Adebayo.
Yeah. Yeah. Is this the episode where she had that confrontation with her significant other?
So that was the previous episode, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Where they mentioned that like you ruined the plans. We were supposed to go to Gotham, and it just like
Right.
I was like, what the fuck? No, this one she's the one who brought up to Amelia, yo, what happened between you and
Right.
Prince?
Right.
It's again another sweet moment of like, like, hey, I'm just letting you know that like, he what's not to like about him. Like, sure he's a jock, but he's got a heart of gold. You just gotta get in there and preserve it with the best you can. And like, and her expression, like, if he hasn't told you yet, he really likes you.
Right.
And and Amelia saying us is never gonna be a thing, and her saying, does he know that?
Right. And I think that I love that she called her out too, because she was like, you crazy as bats, right? And no one, and this is the funny thing, no one else that she knows would she allow to call her out on something like that. She openly let her call, and she did not lash out. And I was kind of like, you need to spend more time with this girl, because she's at least allowing you to be real, and you're allowing her to let you be real. And when she said that, it was kind of like it put things in perspective for her too, because she knew that, but it's different somebody calling you out on your BS. And I don't know, when she said it's never going to happen, I don't think it's because he's so good. I think it's a self-reflection of herself. She's looking at the fact of like, man, it is a two-handful, because technically the guy that she loved, he killed. We didn't know this whole entire time. Like Rick Flag Jr. that Peacemaker killed, she's got to have an internal grudge against this man because he killed her. And the other side of it is that she blames herself for a lot of stuff too, and she's got a lot of guilt internally herself. And so it's kind of like it's a self-reflection, and at the same time, she also probably can't let that go. And I think if she had told him up front, like, yo, Peacemaker, you killed my boyfriend. Straight up. I loved him. And that's part of the reason why I cannot let you completely in or forgive you.
Well, here's the thing. I didn't take it as boyfriend thing. I think because he said he was still with June, but they were hooking up, which again, that's a fucked up thing, Rick. And she kept saying, we're just friends. I'm your only friend. You're my only friend. But Rick was willing to like make that a thing. I'm like, let's try it. Um, what's heartbreaking is that, like, for me, is that like that Chris did kill a friend of hers, but also I think in season one she came to really care for Chris, and those
Shit.
emotions are battling out in her head, and that's why she can't commit to her now. Because I'm like, in one regard, I do care for him, but in another regard, he fucking wrecked a big part of my life and is a walking bomb.
He
And
is. He
who
is.
knows when he's gonna go off, if he goes off. But also, I care for that bomb. It's oh man, dude, she is becoming one of my favorite characters in DC, and I don't care what people think, nepotism or people. I don't give a Jennifer Holland is crushing it, and I really, really, really hope that we don't start killing off or taking away character just for the sake of dramatic purposes. Like I really hope we get to see more of this character grow because I see a lot more potential, and it's just heartbreaking, and I can't stop watching it.
Yeah. I don't think James would ever just willingly let her like take a L. It would have to make sense. And I think you hit the nail on the head. Like part of her has got to be battling with the fact that what do you do in that situation? And he really did blow up her universe because she had everything together. I mean, granted, Amanda Waller is crazy and having her do some terrible, heinous things. But when he got there, all of it blew up. Who she was, what she was doing, her perspective on how to run her job, all of it changed. And on the other side of it, whatever little bit of emotion that she had, he's played with that too because he killed the person that she was with and he also got with her. So, and I think that there's going to be an episode where it's going to show what happened on that boat. I don't know. I don't know what'll be the callback. And she said she wasn't drunk, but I think that she might have said something and he just didn't hear it. I really do because it was just really weird and random that they haven't actually showed it. They keep talking around it, and that's not how James does his stories. Like he always shows what it actually means. But yeah, nonetheless, I think this is a really good episode. Um, yeah, this is the best. This is the best episode so far. It's gotten better. Like first episode was good, second episode was really good. This was great to me.
And that's what I'm saying. That like the first two episodes are so damn good. The first one's really good. It keeps getting better and better and better, and it's just like that's the sweet spot of it right now. And like I'm telling you right now, dude, a friend of ours said it, but like right now, these three episodes are just as good as season one, if not better,
Yeah.
because it's the plot is background. It's all about characters, and the characters' choices are shaping up the plot, not the other way around.
Right.
For me,
No.
at least.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Um but yeah, next time you guys will have a potentially bigger group, even more so than the original three. We will be back for episode 4. Ronan, where can everybody find your content?
Thanks, bro. You can find me at Ronan Unchained on YouTube, on all the socials. I'm going to be covering the hell out of this show on YouTube, TikTok, YouTube Shorts, the whole shebang. So keep an lookout. And there's a lot of, if you're a fan of DC, like I am, and like Sam is, you're going to want to hang out between both our channels. We got a lot of stuff coming down the pipeline.
Yes, sir. You just don't even know, you guys. We'll talk to you guys soon. Stay tuned for the next episode. Peace, people.
Filing out the top of
I can see the skyline, 50 mile radius on my timeline. Ain't nothing on my mind. Oh, Lord.
Hey, what's going on there, everybody? This is Sammy Leggy here representing TeamJVS. Here to give you guys another movie review, and I am talking about the award-winning, highly decorated, and one of the biggest films this year in Niza #2. So Niza, well, you know or not, is actually a sequel. So in 2019, roughly, there was this interesting like animated feature called Niza. It had two antagonists or protagonists, or depending on which perspective you thought of it. But one of the main characters, of course, is Niza. Niza is this young boy who's infueled with something beyond his understanding, and he always looked at it as a troublemaker. Then he finds this direct opposite, and they bump heads, collide, crash, understand, and lapse. And it is amazing in and of its own right. Like, it is actually a great animated film. I'd highly recommend you go and check that movie out before watching this one. But I will say this: I'm not disparaging you from watching this on its own merits, because you can. And it will still give you the narrative and understanding that you need this, if you watch the first one, to give you a lot more clarity. But this is by far one of the most detailed and insane animated rides you will ever see this year. The animation, and I mean this wholly, is some of the best I've ever seen. There are shots that look like murals. There are fluid motions of choreographed fight scenes, animated action beats, and even the raw emotion of the crashing of the waves or the drops of tears will truly move you. I was very speechless. This is one of those films you also need to go and check out if you can in IMAX. I got a chance to check it out in IMAX, and not only was the sound design amazingly immaculate, but it felt immersively massive. This movie also is 2 hours and some change, 2 hours and 20 something minutes, I believe, and it feels fully like it is so much going on. There's so many different threads to the story arc, and so many different battles, so many different fight scenes, so many different character moments of progression, heartache, joy, and laughter, that it feels like you're eating a full course meal. You're getting all the different things that your palate is looking for. And again, they up the ante on the animation. The animation for the first one is amazing, but you won't see anything like this film this year in terms of animated feature animation. It is amazing. Now, this is the one misconception. This is not an anime. Anime is a Japanese animated whatever, whether it's film or whether it is film or if it's a series. But for this is a danwa. Danwa is Chinese animation, whether it's TV series or film. And one of my favorite danwas right now, like if you want to give it a good example, would be To Be Hero X, or even Link Click. That was one of my favorites as well. But you can tell that there's an interesting style to it, and how they handle certain character designs that feel very traditional, very painted, very fluid, but at the same time, the characters' progressions and the way they carry themselves and what they choose to be and do matter in ways that I didn't anticipate. Because the first movie, I mean, honestly, I felt like Zenwa's character in the first movie kind of felt like Stitch from Lilo and Stitch. I kid you not. Like, he's just getting into trouble, but you can tell he's got something good about him. But who's going to bring it out? In the first movie, it kind of felt like his parents were trying to advocate for him. You know, he's a troubled kid. He needed somebody to advocate for him. In this film, it is very different, because he is now put into a situation of purpose and clarity, and he's not doing it alone. But when you don't do something alone, there's also a potential for it causing an effect to people around you that are willing to advocate for you, that are also willing to stand in the gap for you. And it makes for some amazing time at the movie theater. I was very surprised how they handled a lot of this. And because this is the second feature, I believe. I think Yu Zhang, I think this is his second feature. I don't think this is. And because it is so successful, I'm thrown off by it. I don't know how I feel about what I just watched. It is everything you would hope for from an animated feature. It's got comedy, it's got great animation, it's got fights throughout, and I mean some violent, visceral fights, bloody fights, fights with consequence, fights with actual stakes, and dare I say some of the most roughest levels of sacrifice that I've seen this year. Um, they don't shun away from it, and so I give credit all to the director on how he kind of established it. And also, it's got a great voice acting cast. I mean, you got Michelle Yeoh playing one of the main characters in this film. Slew of other great animated talent in terms of the animation and in terms of voice acting. And I don't think that people are ready for this movie because there's never a dull moment. Whether you're laughing, whether you're crying, whether you're engaged, they keep you there the entire movie. I think that if you had never seen probably the first movie, you would kind of be a little lost as to what's actually happening and why things are happening the way they are. They do a good refresher in the very beginning of it, but certain characters that kind of pop up, and you're like, if you've never seen the first movie, you're just assuming that you understand who they are. But then what I do like is if you did watch the first movie and their inclusion of new characters, oof, they do the new characters so well. There's a lot to gush about them. I can't say much because this is a non-spoiler review, but whew, they were in their bag with a lot of these new characters. And also the purpose. I think that there are characters in this film that find and shred that line of purpose. What am I supposed to do with my life? Who am I supposed to be? And what does it mean to put everyone ahead of yourself? Like, what does that truly actually mean? What does that do to an actual individual? Now, what I will say is from a discretion standpoint, like I said, there is violence, there is death, there is blood. There's sometimes like terror that you can kind of feel with certain elements in this because it's so grandiose, you don't know what's going on. There was a scene, and I don't know how to really describe it, but it's like a warring factions going up against each other in such a way that you see them crashing and you see the blood smear everywhere. So viewer discretion advised. Make sure you go and check it out ahead of time if you want to bring any small children, so that way you can be more prepared. I'm trying to be careful because this is a non-spoiler review. But yeah, I just want you guys to be very mindful of what you're actually watching without spoiling it. There is a end credit. Make sure you go and check that out. And yeah, I can't say much. You're just gonna have to watch it for yourself. I don't want to spoil it. But I would say that even how they handle the score and the sound design is really well done. It matches every single scene that you see. I mean, of course, if you're watching like the English dub, like the mouth is not gonna line up because it's actually supposed to be in Chinese. But in terms of how they handle the emotional beats and transitions, they do a very good job of those moments. And I think that one of the characters in this film, I really connected with, and I was just really surprised like how much I did connect with that other character. But I'm not gonna say here. So there's a lot to gush about this film. There's very few weaknesses. The only weak spot that I would say is you need to watch the first movie. I think it'll help. Even if you go and watch like it from a refresher standpoint, or if you go and watch this and then go back and watch that, I think it'd be better. There is some other themes about like monsters, and demonic beings. So that's another thing for viewer discretion. So just be mindful of those things just so you can be cognizant of it. Again, make sure you stay for the end credit. And yeah, this is a 9.5 or 10. This is just amazing. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that this year in terms of animation, and I've seen some great things this year. But let me know what you guys think. Are you guys excited for Ninja 2? Have you already seen it? Have you already thought about it? And your comments are welcome. Please, we got to gush about this movie. I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe to the bell button. Thank you guys so much. I'll talk to you soon.
Falling out the top of
I can see the skyline, 50 mile radius on my timeline. Ain't nothing on my mind. Oh Lord.